Hey, Boo Kittens, it's me, Keisha, and I'm here with this week's All Tea, All Shade, Toya and Reginae, Season 2, Episode 4 review. So, in this week's episode, Toya tells Reginae that she's found a big old house in New Orleans for the whole entire family to stay, including her 17 to 26 siblings, child. And she says that she and Casey are going to ride down together, which we already know is a bad idea. Casey and Toya in the same car is not a kosher idea. I already knew that this was going to go downhill quickly. So Reginae tells her that Casey wanted her to broach the subject of him and Toya going to therapy together because he's already going and working on himself. And Toya feels like he needs to work on himself some more and learn how to talk to her without clicking out. And I 1000% agree with that because as we just saw here, last week or so, he just did a whole video clicking out about Reginae and her not doing for him, but doing stuff for her ex-boyfriend and all of this type of stuff. Just why is you going to the internet yelling into a camera at your big age, but then you want to say that Reginae don't respect you? I wouldn't respect you neither. Like, come on now. And he do be clicking out. He do be saying horrible things to people. And just because you simmer down and then want to come back and say, I'm sorry, we're family, I love you, that don't take away what just happened, sir. It doesn't take away the sting and the hurt of your words. Words mean things, and everybody just can't gloss over that. So I get where Toya is coming from. Like, he needs to really truly work on himself for me to honestly believe him when he says that he's trying to change. So the next day, while setting up to film at her house, Toya gets a frantic phone call where she's told that Beedy was in a car accident with Mel. So she gets Rain and they hurry to the crash site. Beedy's car was totaled. Apparently, a big truck slammed into them, and then that caused her car to slam into another car. And Beedy was complaining about the side of her stomach hurting, so they were wondering, was it internal bleeding or anything? Mel legs were bashed up pretty bad, so Toya had to help her out the car into her car so they can go to the hospital. And like she said, like, I wasn't even worrying about or thinking about the fact that they've had beef in the past. Like, this girl was hurt. She just wanted to make sure everybody was okay. The whole entire family comes to the hospital to check on Beedy, and she's still waiting on testing to be done. She got some, cuts and scrapes and stuff, and they go and check on Mel, who is in a separate room, and her legs are swollen. She has several cuts and things on her legs and everything. And it was kind of awkward between her and Toya, and even like this, the energy in the room, period, it was a little awkward. And it was brought up how Toya had to help her out the car and everything. She was like, yeah, thankfully. I don't know if she said thank you to her already, like, thank you so much for helping me or anything. I expected that to be the thing that she said, but it wasn't. But after that, Beedy returns home and they film a scene at the house, and Toya confronts her about not telling her that she and Mel were back together. And she goes to tell Beedy that the only reason why she had an issue with Mel in the first place is because all of the horrible things that she came to her and told her about this girl, So if you telling me all this negative stuff about her, of course I'm not going to like her, But Beedy asked, can they talk? And she was like, yeah, I'm willing to sit down and have a conversation with her, But she did make it clear that she just wishes that she would have been honest with her and just told her, you know what I'm saying? This scene right here, I think that it was already known that he couldn't go to New Orleans. I think that this was a fake scene, not the situation, but that they acted it out pretty much, because Toya calls Walter to talk about the trip, and she's talking about, I forgot, the house or whatever, and you clearly hear him saying sis, sis, as she's talking and quote unquote not hearing him, but it seemed like she was acting in this scene. And so she was like, how you feel about the trip? And he was shaking his head, and he was like, I can't go. They won't let me go, or whatever. My PO won't let me go. And he was like, how they gonna do me like that? Like, I ain't seen my daughter in 9 years. I done got her hype and everything. Like, I got out of jail. I've been doing right. Like, why are they doing me like this? And she was like, oh, Walter, like, you gonna make me cry. I just felt like they was reenacting what the initial conversation was already told. You know what I'm saying? But regardless of the fact, it was very sad and disheartening to hear that he couldn't go. But I don't understand why the daughter can't come see him. You know, if he ain't got the money for a flight, ask production to fly her out there so y'all can have this scene on camera with me reuniting with my daughter. Like, it gotta be a way for him to see her, you know what I'm saying, face to face outside of FaceTime. But it was unfortunate that, he wasn't able to go on the trip, and I did really feel bad for him. So Red and Toya are in their bedroom discussing the trip and everything, and how they're gonna be riding down there with Casey. And he tells Toya, that he don't like the disrespect towards her from Casey, and that if it was anybody else, it would have been a problem. Like, Red don't be playing about her, and he don't like the way that Casey be moving. And it's obvious that he tolerates Casey because of his wife, but you can tell, like, he is sick of the toxicity with her family. Like, you can tell he is fed up. And anybody else would be, because it's nothing but drama, and that stuff becomes draining, because at some point you just got to be like, okay, I tried, but enough is enough. I got to love you from afar, and I just got to keep it that way, period. You know what I'm saying? And I think that Toya is going to have to make a choice at some point, like her family or her family with her siblings and her mom and all of the things that brings her nothing but stress, because that man gonna get sick of all this mess at some point, and you don't want your youngest baby to think that this is normal, because it's not, So then we see Beedy talk to Mel. They're together, and she tells Mel that she didn't tell Toya that they were back together, and Mel is shocked by this. She thought that she told her, but she hadn't. So she explains to Mel that, yeah, when we was into it, I talked cash about you to my sister. I did. And she was like, yeah, I've done the same thing. And she was like, but just make sure the person you talk to ain't trying to sabotage. And I didn't really care for that comment from Mel, because I don't think that Toya is trying to sabotage their relationship. What did she get out of that? What does she get out of her trying to sabotage y'all relationship? And then that goes back to, I feel like, why Toya and like Reginae have an issue with them being together, because it almost kind of seems like she be trying to poison Beedy against her family, or at least Toya, you know what I'm saying, and try to keep her under her thumb. I don't know, that rubbed me the wrong way. How did that come across to y'all? But Beedy asks, is she willing to sit down and talk to Toya, because Toya agreed to talk to her. And Mel says that she's willing to talk to Toya as long as she's willing to listen and not lash out. And based off what we saw, it doesn't look like things are going to go too well between the two of them. I don't see, is Toya a lash? I think Toya is a lash out person to certain people, but I don't think that she just be getting hype and going off on people. But I think that Mel be saying little slick stuff sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So I really can't wait to see how this conversation between them are going to go. And then at the end of the episode, the whole family gets into a Sprinter van to head to New Orleans. And it's Toya, it's Red, it's Rain, it's Beedy, it's Casey, it's Reginae, it's Nita, and some other folks. Like, it is a packed sprinter, okay? And just all them people in the car, period, is just too much for me. It was like a can of sardines, okay? So Reginae tells Toya and Casey that they should talk since we on this long ride. And I was like, I don't think that this was the right time for them to be having this conversation, because can't nobody get up and walk out. You know what I'm saying? And that could be a good thing or a bad thing. But I think in this case, it's a bad thing, because dealing with Casey, you might need to take an exit. You might need to take a lap. You know what I'm saying? But they end up talking, and she tells him it's not just what he did that day on the float, but it's a buildup of things. The way he talked to her, the way he be, saying horrible things to her, mean things, and, like, she tired of it. And she tells him, like, you treat us like a punching bag. And Casey was like, we all got stuff. I may hit below the belt sometimes or whatever, like kind of making excuses for his behavior. People like that love to deflect. Like, I ain't the only person that got problems. Everybody got problems. Well, we ain't talking about everybody right now. We talking about you. And that's exactly what Toya said to him. And she said, you don't sound like a person that learned a damn thing since you've been quote unquote in therapy. Because it was like, an abusive person pretty much, where they're nice to a point, and then when they see they're not getting their way and you're holding them accountable, they switch back to the normal way, the way that you're used to them behaving. And he started off nice, and I love my sister, I love my family, I want us to get things together. And then when she kept on holding his feet to the flames, it became, I ain't the only one with no problem, everybody got issues, and all of this type of stuff. And he says that he told the therapist that they were going to come and have a session with him or her the next day without even asking Toya. And Toya was like, I'm not going. And so Casey was like, so I guess I'm the only one that got problems. I'm the only one that got problems. And this is why she ain't going. Period. Like, he is such a toddler. He is very much entitled. He is very selfish. He's very unaware. He doesn't hold himself accountable for anything. Everything is everybody else's fault. He's a deflector. He might have some issues. Like his mama said to Walter, like, he might need some medication to help him. Like, he might be undiagnosed with something, because that ain't all the way right up in there in that head, okay? But overall, I'm going to give this week's episode of Toya and Reginae, I'm going to give it a C. It was a cool episode. It was entertaining for what it was. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this week's episode. Hey, you guys, I'm thinking about this new series that I might bring to this channel that's going to be real fun. I don't really want to say too much, but just know I've been working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes for my second channel, which you guys need to subscribe to if you have not. The link is down below in the description box. I will be adding content over there. I'm working on some things, and I really want to bring some new content onto this channel as well. So be on the lookout for some new stuff. I'm just going to drop it. I ain't going to really talk about it too much. But yeah, I love you guys. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button so you know my videos drop. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.